Hiya, welcome back to the channel. So today we've got a Fiat. It's a Fiat Tipo. I think it's a 1.2 or a 1.25 or something diesel, and we're doing a service on it. So obviously, as you probably already noticed, it is on ramps because I'm gonna have to get underneath it. So let's get underneath it and take this belly pan off, because although it has got a nice access hole in it, that isn't to access anything that we need to access. The sump plug is about here, so that's a waste of time, innit? So I have to take that off, which is a case of removing various Phillips head screws all the way around it, which I'm not going to film because one, it's not very interesting, and two, it's really awkward and bulky to do on your back with one hand, so I'll come back when it's off. And along with them Phillips screws all the way around it, we've got a couple of 13mm bolts at the back as well. Yes. And I've just noticed, just to be a dick, they've put a couple of 10mm there as well on the front corners, which I didn't notice at first. So yeah, belly pan needs multiple different tools to take it off, which is just fucking mint. Yes.
Fuck it, let's kick it off.
And now with that nice and carefully removed, we can see the bottom of the engine. So not only can we see, well, it's probably a good place to put an EGR blanking if you're into that sort of thing. We can see that appears to be a T45. So I'm gonna go and get a T45 and an oil drain. Oh yeah, I forgot to warm this up first. This is driven here and it is warm, so the oil will come out nicer when it's warm. But yeah, let's go and get the correct tools required and then come back. Yes. Yeah, so it is a T45, and of course I've got a quarter drive ratchet, which is probably too small, but it is tighter than expected. So instead of going getting a bigger ratchet, yes. Yes. And then whilst that is draining, carefully pull that off and do our oil filter, which is there. But to get to that, we've got to take this off anyway to do the air filter, so I might as well take it off because it's going to be easier to take it to the oil filter if I just take this off from here, take these 3 bolts out, and then just get rid of all of this out the way. The MAF sensor to unplug it, by the way, on the bottom of it, you just squeeze that in and then pull it out and it should come out. So let's take this off, which, just to be different, are 7mm. This also seems to be about 7mm, so at least they're all the same size. At least they're all the same oddball size. And then, as you can see, them bolts don't fall out. And now, with that out of the way, we can see our oil filter. So that's a 27mm, which we need to undo in an anti-clockwise direction until it is undone. And then when that is undone, you don't just want to yank it out because you'll get oil everywhere. You want to leave it to drain for enough time so you're not going to get oil everywhere, like so. And now we need to put our new oil filter, a new O-ring on. So now there are 2 different oil filters now. This is this side, that just pulls off there, and then the new one just pushes in to there, like so. The other oil filter is different. So yeah, now I need to get the O-ring off there and put that new one onto here, which is going to be difficult to show because I haven't got a tripod with me, and I could do with 2 hands to do this. So I just did it off camera, and now it's time to put the new oil filter in, which is just a reversal of the taking out of the oil filter. Put that in there, tighten it up, and then torque it to specifically, click, 25 Newton meters exactly. And then with the oil filter installed and this all taken apart, we might as well do the air filter, which isn't horrendous to be honest with you, but we have a new one, so let's put that in like this. Now it will only go in one way around. It's fatter at one end than the other end. So if you look at that bit there, that corner, there's a bigger gap there. So just make sure you put it in the right way around. You can vacuum the airbox out underneath, but this wasn't that bad and I haven't got a vacuum on me, so I haven't done it. So now we can put this back on, which just clips in there, and this basically want to put that on there and then this back in there, and then tighten all these 7mm back up. That's one, another one, and three. And they don't want to be massively tight, they're only into plastic, so doing it with a socket driver should be about right. So that's the air filter done, oil filter done. I need to fill it with oil, but I need to put the sun plug back in first before doing the fuel filter, which is just a case of crawling back under the car and putting this back in. Now it doesn't have a copper dick washer on this, it has an O-ring, so as long as the O-ring's alright, I should just be able to put it back in. I can't wait to drop this in that oil. Not forgetting to torque it up to manufacturer specific torque setting. And then now, apart from checking it for leaks, we're actually done under here. So I'm going to put the belly pan back on, because if it is leaking I don't want to see it. So I'm going to put that back on, and now that is back on. I'm done under there, it can come off the ramps really, but before I can take it off the ramps I need to put some oil in it. So the oil is going to go in here where it says oil on it, and it is this stuff, not 30s. So let's try and get some of that in there, and I think it's about 4 litres, but I don't know, you just put enough in and then measure it on the dipstick, don't you? So let's try and do that without dropping it everywhere. Yes. And now, with about 3.5 litres in it, that should definitely be enough to run it. Yes. See, that wasn't the car cutting out, that was me. I kept starting it and turning it off to try and prime the oil filter a little bit. For what good it does or not, just something I like to do if I can. So yeah, now we can check it and make sure it's not leaking from this area and underneath, which it's not doing. So I've took it off the ramps, and now we've got our fuel filter to do. So to do this fuel filter, we're going to have to disconnect all these, undo the top, and then change the filter. So let's do that then. So this one, there's a little yellow thing there which you pull up, and you pull that to the side, that comes off. These you pull them to the side, and then there's 2 buttons, one on each side. You can see that. And you squeeze them in, and then it releases it. Exactly the same process with this one, but it's a smaller one. So slide that to the side, squeeze them in. It's a bit awkward to get to actually, but yeah, same shit. And then we have got various little, I think they're T25s around it. This actually could do with taking off, possibly as well. Just move that out the way. And then, with this out the way, everything else is in the way a little bit. It's not too bad, but instead of struggling, it's probably going to be easier to undo these 10s and remove the housing. If that's how it comes off, we'll find out in a minute. And even though we've just put this back in, you might want to do this before you do your air filter, but this just pulls out just enough to get to these 2 10mm. But yeah, definitely do this before you've done the air filter. Really should probably take it all back off again, but I can't be bothered. But now I've got these 2 10mm both removed, and then this just comes off. And then with that removed, we'll find that this engine cover is specifically designed to perfectly hold that in place whilst you remove these T20s. Yes. Yes. So I'm going to take them all out and then come back. And then it will leak diesel out. And that filter is actually pretty manky. So it's probably a good job that we're changing it. And then to do so, it should, yeah, it just literally just pulls off. So that's the old filter removed, and then the new filter should just push on, and you've got to line that up, so that goes into there, and then just push it, and then with that pushed all the way on, we can put it back in here now. That will line up to a notch there, so it will only go in one way. Also, before you put it back together, you can check in here and make sure there's not loads of swarf from failing pumping injectors or anything like that. So let's put that back on, and then I put all these screws back in and torque them up. Yes. So now, with that all back together, we can now put it back where we got it from, in this location, and put these bolts back in. Which, when you do, make sure you put that pip into that hole down there, like so. So now this is all back in, bolted back on, that wire's back in, this is pushed back in place, and we can finish up by connecting everything back up, which is just a reversal of unconnecting it. Yes. So now I'm going to top the oil up. I'll just do that off camera a minute, and then I'm going to bleed the fuel system. Yes. So this is the thing. Now this, I have not topped it right up to the top because it's got a DPF on it, and when DPF regen, it can add a bit of oil, so you don't want it too high. So I've left it about a quarter of a litre from the top or something like that. So now that should do. So let's, well, try and bleed it up in the simplest way possible. And I'm hoping that that's going to be as simple as just turn the ignition on and off multiple times. There probably is a bleeding procedure for this if I've got my diagnostics, but I'm hoping that this will work fine. Let's do it about 10 times. Just turn the ignition on, don't start it, leave it for about 5-10 seconds. Fuck it, let's give it a go. Yes. And I'll just add this on the end about bleeding the filter. Usually, if you just prime it with the ignition, it'll be enough, but sometimes you might have a little bit of trapped air. If that's the case, then you will need another pair of hands really, but you need to just crack this nipple off here, and then you need to turn the ignition to cycle it again. So just cycle ignition, and then it is now definitely bled up. I mean, you shouldn't need to do that, but I just thought I'd add it on just in case you do. So that is the engine service complete. So we can put that back on, nice and curved, it just pushes down into place like so. And I think that'll do us. Don't forget to check the level of the coolant to make sure it's got too much in it, but fuck it, it'll be alright. And I think that's all for this one. I mean, you've got tyre pressures, you can check them as well, check the brakes stuff. This is just an engine service though, you know, nothing else. There is more to do in a full service. But yeah, that's all for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual shit. I'll see you next time.